Tropical Storm Debby is one of the scariest flooding situations Dr. Forbes says he has ever seen.
The scariest part of all is how long the rain could last. It is just piling up the rain.
It is a tough forecast. One thing we know for sure is we're getting some devastating flooding out of this situation.
Tropical Storm Debby was very difficult to pinpoint, and it made it very difficult for the team to decide where and when we were going to respond. On Sunday, June 24th, we had a Skype call with Stu Ostro, one of the severe weather experts at the Weather Channel.
Tonight and tomorrow, there are going to continue to be significant impacts. We've already had serious flooding.
At that point, he advised us that Tropical Storm Debby was most likely going to hit Florida.
We're now confident it's not going to go all the way west to Texas. It's going to make landfall somewhere on the northeast Gulf Coast, somewhere in Florida.
We weren't sure exactly which city Tropical Storm Debby was going to affect, but we decided to hit the road and head south anyway. Andy, I would say go home, grab your bags, say goodbye to your wife. I don't know when you're going to be home. Tim, let's go ahead and get everything packed up, get the hovercraft hooked up, get all of our rescue gear together and hit the road. You never really know what you're going to need, so you got to bring in a lot of gear with you. We've got hovercrafts and water pumps and underwater cameras to deal with flooding situations to help the community get back on their feet.
When you're driving to a disaster, there's always a lot of uncertainty. You don't know any of the places you're going to. You don't know what the conditions are like in these towns. In my mind, there's always a sense of danger. At the same time, it's good to know that we have the materials and the things that are needed to help the communities affected by disasters.
It's almost midnight. We got a long ride ahead of us. At this point, our objective is to get to Florida, and by the time we get to Florida, the meteorologists at the Weather Channel will be able to give us a pretty good idea of where we should go. We've been driving through the night, and right as the sun came up, we're hitting the Georgia-Florida line. We arrived in Florida, and at that point we still didn't know exactly which city Tropical Storm Debby was going to affect the worst. We eventually got another phone call from Stu Ostro at the Weather Channel telling us that a community by the name of St. Mark's was surrounded by 2 rivers and was also being affected by the storm surge coming in from the Gulf. And most likely there was going to be a need for our help.
The model has a 5-day rainfall total near here of 41 inches, which I've never seen a model show in my career.
The team was driving through the worst of Tropical Storm Debby. The wind was blowing sideways, the rain was coming down in heavy bands, almost 3 inches a minute, and the roads were filling up with water quickly.
You gotta be really careful driving on these wet roads. You're gonna slide right off if you don't pay attention. There's a lot of runoff. You can just hit the brakes and hydroplanes. So you gotta take your time and be very careful.
We're only about 30 minutes away from a city that sounds like is in big trouble. We're starting to get some of our water rescue gear on. The rainwater is coming in from inland, and the water is coming in through waves from the Gulf, and it's all meeting together on this one community. The whole community is cut off. No communication with anybody as of now. We don't know what's going on. All we know is we got to get there. As soon as we arrived in St. Mark's, our first stop was the volunteer fire department. It's always great to be welcomed by volunteer fire departments. Ultimately, we're all the same. We're just hoping to make a difference in communities when we're needed.
Anybody that helps us and helps the people, that's what we're here for. I appreciate the First Responders coming down and offering to give us a hand.
The first thing the fire department has asked us to do is to grab some of our saws and start cutting up some trees that have covered some of the roadways. There's actually some 911 calls, and the rescue trucks can't get through because of downed trees, so we got to get those roads cleared right away. As you can tell, there's dozens of people that need to get through here. These are actually people that are trying to evacuate right now. And then on the other side of this tree, we've got police and fire and EMS that are trying to get through and access the community. Good job, bro.
We just finished up for the night. We gave everybody our cell phone numbers, and we're going to go get a few hours sleep and be back early at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
So it's 11:59 right now. We left at 7 o'clock yesterday, which means we have been up and on the road and active for 28 hours. We're just gonna get a few hours sleep, take a shower, come back to the fire department, and get ready for what will unfold when the sun comes up.